Hi everyone, good morning. Today we can discuss another topic, ordinary people and the crimes against humanity. So in the previous session we discussed the cruelty done by Nazis. And here crimes against humanity means the crimes done by Nazis against the people. Then what was the response of the ordinary people towards these crimes? We have to discuss here. So how did the common people react to Nazism? So different kinds of people, mainly three groups are there. The first group, they saw the world through Nazi eyes and spoke their mind in Nazi language. That means they followed the Nazi ideology, they saw the world through Nazi eyes. So they felt hatred and anger against Jews, and they developed this hatred and anger when they saw someone who looked like a Jew. They marked the houses of Jews and reported suspicious neighbors. Genuinely, they believed Nazis would bring prosperity and improve general well-being. So this is the first group. They saw they were the Nazi followers. They supported Nazi, and they saw the world through Nazi eyes, and they thought that Nazis would bring prosperity and improve general well-being. Then what was the other category? They were a group against this Nazism. They organized active resistance towards Nazism and braving police repression and death. So what happened here? This other group, they were against the Nazi crimes and they organized resistance against the Nazism. And what happened? The Nazi police suppressed them, and they faced death. They faced death. But the other category, the large majority of Germans, they were the passive onlookers and apathetic witness. They were the witness of the crimes done by the Nazis, but they were not ready to respond. They feared, they scared to act, to differ, and to protest. So they were not ready to protest, or they were not ready to protest against the Nazis because of fear. That is why they preferred to looking away. They look away. They don't mind what happening in Nazi Germany. They thought that nothing happened to them, then no problem to them. That was their condition. They were from their side no reaction against Nazi crimes. Seeing this, at that time a resistance fighter, Pastor Niemöller, he wrote some words against the uncanny silence amongst ordinary Germans. See, one side the people, they faced brutal and organized crimes. Seeing this also, people were not ready to respond because of fear. So against this, Pastor Niemöller, he was a resistance fighter. He observed the absence of protest, and an uncanny silence means a strange, a mysterious silence among the people. See, so he wrote movingly about the silence. So what was his words? We can go through his words here. He used the word they, representing Nazis. First they came for the communist. They came means the Nazis came for the communist. Earlier we discussed that when Hitler acquired power, first he turned against his arch enemies, communist. You know that. So first they came for the communist. Well, I was not a communist, so I did nothing. So I said nothing means this is the response of the people. They thought that the Nazis came against the communist, so that is why they were not ready to respond. Then they came for the social democrats. Well, I was not a social democrat, so I did nothing. When they came for the trade unionists, but I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, but I was not a Jew, so I did little. At last, what happened? Then, when they came for me, there was no one left who could stand up for me. So, what happened? At last, they turned against the people. So, these people, the passive onlookers, but what happened? There were no one to help them. So what Jews felt in Nazi Germany, you know that Jews, they were the worst sufferers of Nazi Germany. Here the Charlotte Bernadette, she secretly recorded people's dreams in her diary and later published them in a highly disconcerting book called The Third Reich of Dreams. So you know that these people, those who are responding to the Nazi crimes, they were severely punished. That is why this Charlotte Bernadette, she secretly recorded the people's dream in her diary. And later it published in the book called Third Reich of Dreams. And in this book, she describes how Jews themselves began believing in the Nazi stereotypes about them. They dreamt of their hooked noses, black hair and eyes, Jewish looks and body movements. So you know that Nazi stereotyped Jews, and what was their real appearance and what was the appearance, how the how the Nazi stereotyped them, that was different. The stereotypical images published in the Nazi press haunted the Jews, always attacking the Jews. They troubled them even in their dreams. Jews died many deaths even before they reached the gas chamber. In Nazi Germany, Jews died many deaths even before they reached the gas chamber. So what was the miserable condition? What was the sufferings of Jews in the Nazi Germany? This Charlotte Bernadette, she noted, she recorded in her diary and published in the book called Third Reich of Dreams. Then our last topic, we can discuss the knowledge about the Holocaust. Knowledge about the Holocaust. Holocaust means killing of large masses. What is the meaning Holocaust? Killing of large masses, known as Holocaust. Or during the Second World War, Germany waged a genocidal war, killing of large masses. That term is known as Holocaust. Knowledge about the Holocaust means here how the world outside know about this Holocaust. Earlier we discussed that the Nazis, they used false and deceptive languages. They never used the term kill or murder. Then how the outside world know about this Holocaust, that we are going to discuss. So here the information about Nazi practices had trickled out of Germany during the last years of the regime. But it was only after the war ended and Germany was defeated that the world came to realize the horrors of what had happened. You know, under the shadow of the Second World War, Germany waged a genocidal war. But outside world was not informed, and our outside world world had no idea about this Holocaust that occurred in Germany. Only after the Second World War, or only after the defeat of Germany, the world came to realize the horrors that happened in Germany. While the Germans were preoccupied with their own plight as a defeated nation emerging out of the rubble, the Jews wanted the world to remember the atrocities and sufferings they had endured during the Nazi killing operations, also called the Holocaust. Nazi killing operations known as Holocaust. So here, the Jewish people, they want to tell loudly to the world what type of cruelties, atrocities done by the Nazis, what was their sufferings in Nazi Germany. They want to tell this to the world, but they wait the end of the war to tell this to outside the world. And when this feeling at its height, a ghetto inhabitant, that means ghetto means the Nazi, so they kept in the Jewish camp known as ghettos. So a ghetto inhabitant had said to another that one ghetto inhabitant means one Jew, he told or he said to another Jew, that means he wanted to outlive the war just for half an hour. What was his dream? He wanted to live after the war only half an hour. For what purpose? He wanted to set. That means he wanted to be able to tell the world about what had happened in Nazi Germany. What was the dream of this Jew? He wanted to tell the world what happened in Nazi Germany. He wanted to inform the world. He wanted to be able to tell the world about what had happened in Nazi Germany. This indomitable spirit to bear witness and to preserve the documents can be seen in many ghetto camp and camp inhabitants who wrote diaries, kept notebooks, and created archives. So what happened? To tell about their sufferings, the Nazi cruelties, brutalities to the outside world. These Jewish people, they wrote diaries in the ghetto camps, they kept notebooks and create some archives. On the other hand, when the war seemed lost, the Nazi leadership, so another thing, when the war seemed lost means when the Nazis, they realized that they were going to defeat, the Nazi leadership distributed petrol to its all officers to destroy all incriminating evidence available in the offices. So what happened when the war going to end, Germany going to defeat? Realizing this, what happened? Nazi leadership distributed petrol to all of its officers to destroy all the evidences related to their cruelties. But the history and the memory of the Holocaust live on in memoirs, fiction, documentaries, poetry, memorials, and museums in many parts of the world today. These are a tribute to those who resisted it, an embarrassing reminder to those who collaborated, and a warning to those who watched in silence. So what happens here? At that time, people, they watched in silence without response. See that. So at the same time, how the people, they know about the Holocaust that occurred in Germany through the memoirs, through fiction, through documentaries, poetry, memorials, and museums in many parts of the world. Dear students, you can see page number 72, right side, a milk cans photo. In this milk cans, you can see that the inhabitants of the Warsaw ghetto collected documents and placed them in the 3 milk cans along with the other containers. As destruction seemed imminent, these containers were buried in the cellars of buildings in 1943, and this can was discovered in 1950. So what happened? There were no other way to tell about the cruelties they suffered in Nazi Germany. See, they thought that after the death, or how many years after the death also, they want to tell these sufferings to the outside world. So what happened? Whatever the sufferings, what happened in Nazi Germany, they recorded. And all that records, books and everything, what they do, they kept in the milk can and buried in the ground. And this can was discovered in the year 1950, or this can was unearthed in the year 1950, and the world realized what was the sufferings of the Jews. Who were the worst sufferers? We know. We got the information about we got the knowledge about the Holocaust that occurred in Nazi Germany. So saying this, we are going to conclude our lesson. Thank you.